Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be talking about my TBR for December, and I say that loosely because this is, I really am not going to really be having a TBR in December other than for this readathon and the Rake Appreciation Society book. But other than that, I'm going to just kind of leave those last 2 weeks up to just whatever the heck strikes my fancy, because I really failed at my November TBR for the TBR jar books that I picked out. Those were a fail. I didn't read any of those. I feel so bad. I love making TBR videos. I love making TBR lists. But then when it comes down to it, I'm always sort of like, do I really want to read something I have to read, or do I want to just go read something else? And it's usually, do I want to just go read something else? So anyway, for readathons, I'm sometimes also not good at sticking to TBRs, but we have one today. We have a readathon that we're going to be talking about today. But first of all, I want to talk about the book that we picked for the December pick for my historical romance book club that I do with Jen from the Book Refuge, who I love so dearly. It's called the Rake Appreciation Society. We have a live show every month on the second Thursday. The second Thursday of the month at 5 p.m. MST. So this month is really special. We decided to go with My Fake Rake by Eva Leigh. This was Jen's idea. She really wanted to pick a book that had Rake in the title, and so she gave me like a few that she wanted to read, and I was like, I want to read this one. And so we're like, okay, let's do it. So I love this idea to pick one with Rake in the title. I am really excited. I've never read Eva Leigh before, so I'm super, super excited to try this. And the most exciting thing of all, I know I said exciting like 5 times, the most exciting thing of all is that on the live show, Eva Leigh, Zoe Archer is her name. Eva Leigh is her historical romance name. She will be on our live show with us for the last half hour. So I'm so excited about that. We would love to have you read this book with us. Get any questions you may have for Eva or that you have about the book, and let's talk about it on the live show. And if you happen to miss the live show, you can always rewatch it again on my channel. But I'd love it if you come watch it live with us. So grab a copy of this book and read it with us. You have plenty of time. You have until December 10th. December 10th, 5 p.m. on my channel, live show for this book. Make sure and join us. So, now let's talk about the readathon. So this readathon is specifically for romance, and I love that so much. It is also a 2-week-long readathon, which I think is fantastic. And I'm not sure exactly who was the founder of this. I know this is the second time that this readathon is happening, but the person heading it up is my dear friend Jen from the Book Refuge, and there are a bunch of other lovely hosts. I know Bree from In Love and Words, Izzy, Tamika, tons of wonderful hosts, Bookish Bethany, Nicole from Who Picked This Book. So there are a ton of great hosts. They have honestly, this readathon is so cool because it's like a build your own bingo board. So they have a bunch of different prompts that you can choose to fill your TBR, or you can just wing it and just read romance for the 2 weeks that you want. But I like making TBRs, even if I don't stick to them. I just love making them. I don't know why. If you are like that too, let me know so I'm not alone. But there were so many prompts. I went through and I built 2 bingo boards actually. And so I'm going to talk about those that I made and what prompts I have. I picked books that would fill several prompts, and I'm just really, really excited for this. I think a readathon devoted to just reading romance sounds heavenly, so I'm here for it. So on my bingo board, now some of the prompts that they have are things like post an Instagram post, follow all the hosts, like make a TBR, post your TBR video or on Instagram, and they have a lot of like interactive challenges like that. So I put those on my bingo board, but I'm just gonna be talking about the books that I chose for these. So for the prompt of a romance that's been on your TBR for longer than 6 months and age gap romance, I chose Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This book has been on my TBR for a very, 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 very long time. This has been on my TBR probably for at least 2 years, and I just have never gotten to it because I don't know why. It's one of those hyped books that I'm just sort of like, so, gonna be reading that. And then the other another prompt that I chose is historical romance. Now, I actually have a lot of historical romance, but the one I'm including for that prompt is My Fake Rake by Eva Leigh, just to have it count for that. So another prompt that I picked was 5-star prediction. Also so the book I chose for my 5-star prediction also counts for recommended by a host and a buddy read, and that is A Heart of Blood and Ashes. I almost said the second title. A Heart of Blood and Ashes by Mila Vane. This is another one that has been on my radar ever since it came out. I had this pre-ordered, and then it got here, and I just thought, this is a very big boy, and I'm a little anxious about reading it. But I have since heard Jen rave about it, and I know that she was going to reread it as one of her favorites, and so I said, can I read that with you? And she said, yes, you can. So there's my buddy read for that. I'm very excited about this. I know this is just basically a high fantasy world and the romance, and I hear it's just fantastic. So I'm definitely into that. Okay, for the next prompt, I had a hard time figuring out just which one I wanted to do because I dearly love this trope, and that is tortured hero. I decided to go with The Beast of Bestwick by Emily Howard because this is also one that has been on my TBR for a very long time, and I would just really like to get to it. So I think that this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I feel like people either really love this or they kind of hate it, and so I'm really interested to see where I fall. I have a feeling that I'm gonna love it, so hopefully I'm right. Okay, and for the next challenge I picked a diverse book, and of course, I just used that as an opportunity to go back to Green Creek and read more of my Wolfsong babies. So this is the third book in that series. This is Heartsong. I'm not sure who follows this, but this whole series is LGBTQ, own voices, and male, and I am very, very, very hyped to read this beautiful book. So another book that I picked is, or another prompt I picked is read a recent release, and for that, I decided to go with When a Rogue Meets His Match. This is by Elizabeth Hoyt. This doesn't release until December 1st. This is the second book in her newest series. This is historical romance, enemies to lovers. I do have an arc of this, and I would really love to get this read in time for release so I can do a review for it, and Elizabeth Hoyt is one of my favorite authors ever, so I am very excited about this. And the book I picked for Outside Your Comfort Zone is Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. Pam Godwin is a new author to me. I recently read Sea of Ruin and just fell completely in love with it. But it is definitely a dark romance, is something that definitely pushes me outside of my comfort zone and makes me feel a little uncomfy at times, but I also really, really loved Sea of Ruin. It's just a fantastically beautiful book, very dark with lots of trigger warnings, so just be warned before you read that. So I would love to read more of Pam Godwin's works, and Dark Notes seems like the perfect place to begin with that. Okay, and this book is one that I am actually very excited about. This prompt is A Cinnamon Roll Hero. So I decided to go with Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I am really, really interested in just reading all of her works right now. And I just figured this was the perfect place to begin. The only thing that I know is that he is a Cinnamon Roll Hero and he's an NBA player. That's pretty much all I know, but I love Kennedy Ryan and I really want to read this book. And another prompt I chose was audiobook. So for this one, I may change my mind at a later point depending on what's on my different audiobook platforms at that time. It seems like they're always changing, but the one I decided to go with for right now, subject to change, is The Traitor Queen. This is the second book in the Bridge Kingdom series, and I loved the Bridge Kingdom, and I have not read this book. I really like the narrators. I feel like this is an excellent audiobook to listen to. This is fantasy romance. It started as Enemies to Lovers. I'm not entirely sure where this one is, but I am really hyped to read this, and I have high expectations for it. Okay, now, the very last prompt is Reread a Favorite Romance. Now, I had a lot that I could choose from, but I have recently had a tradition where at the end of the year, I reread this particular series, and it always is just so comforting, and it just feels like a Christmas present to myself, and I just love it, and I honestly don't care what anybody else says. This book will always be one of my favorite books of all time, and so for that reason, I am going to reread A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is a very chunky book, but I just love it so, so much, and would you look at that cover? I think I've showed you all before, but it's just so pretty. I love this book so much, and because I feel like the whole point of this readathon is just to find joy and comfort in reading romance books, and so I picked this one because it's my favorite, and I love fantasy romance, and I feel like I haven't read as much as I would like lately. So those are the books that I am hoping to get to for this readathon. And sort of for the end of the year, I'm not sure. I'm kind of contemplating after this if I do a TBR or maybe just something for those last 2 weeks of the year, but I don't know. We'll see. I have had a great reading year, and I'm just really excited for this romance readathon. So let me know if you think you might do this readathon, and let me know what you think about the books I picked, if you think I'm gonna like them or not. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.